Take 27, my top 20 favorite, lesser-known Montreal Canadiens players. Hey everyone, in my 56 years, the Habs have had many good and great famous players on their roster. In this video, I'm going to give you my top 20 lesser-known players that for various reasons have stayed with me. I'm going to tell you why, and that's right here at Talking Habs with me, Rick. Let's just see now. So, keep watching as I reveal these former Habs. Very important stuff. If you love the Habs like I do, subscribe and ring the notifications bell, and that'll notify you of all my videos, live streams, contests, and podcasts. Dedicated to all of it. Dedicated to the Habs and all things hockey. If you'd like to give some further support, which would be very, very appreciated, check out my Patreon page. The link is down in the description. So I'm glad you stuck around because I'm excited to tell you about these former Habs who all made impressions on me through the years for one reason or another. So let's get started right away. And remember, these are in alphabetical order. So you can't hit me up on this one's better, should be a different spot. Just alphabetical order, much easier that way. So we're starting out with the goalies. Number 1 is Jeff Hackett. Jeff Hackett started his career in 1988-89 with the New York Islanders, where I believe he was there for a year or two. Then I didn't write this part down on the first guy. I got it better on the rest of them. I think he went from there to the Sharks. He was drafted in the expansion draft for the San Jose Sharks. So he was an original San Jose Shark. He played in Montreal from 98-99 to 2002-2003. Then he went on to Philly for, I think, just 1 year. And he finished 500 games played, 166 wins, 244 losses, 56 ties or overtime losses. I'm not sure if he was around for those shootouts and all that. Or he was before that. I didn't check. He had a .290 goals against average and a .902 save percentage. So overall, not very bad. He was a good all-around kind of guy. He seemed like a really nice guy. And I just kind of liked him. He was a solid goalie for a bad Habs team. And I believe he had some injury problems. There were a couple of years I saw him. It looked like he had some injury problems, if I remember correctly, too. So, yeah, Jeff Hackett, an original Shark. And one of my favorite lesser-known Habs of the day. Next up, number 2, Brian Hayward. A really great backup for the time he was here, backing up Patrick Roy. He was another Cornell University grad, just like Ken Dryden came out of Cornell University. His first 4 seasons was with the Jets from 82-83 to 85-86. He was traded to Montreal in 86-87, and he stayed here for 4 seasons. He had a 357 games played, 143 wins, 156 losses, 37 ties, a .372 goals against, and an .873 save percentage. Imagine that today's NHL. But that was a different day and age, and that wasn't too bad for his time. He was a good backup, and it was a great tandem with him and Roy. At least I thought. And I thought it was longer than 4 years. I'm a little surprised when I did this that it was only 4 years. So Brian Hayward, number 2 in my lesser-known favorite Habs players. Number 3 is Denny Haren. One of my favorites, actually, here. I used to really like this guy. And it's funny, do you notice the 3 goalies, their last names start with H? 3 out of the 4, anyway, the 4th one doesn't. I have 4 goalies here. So that's Denny Haren. Started with the Penguins. He was there from 72-73 to 74-75, 76-77, 78-79, and then 82-83 to 85-86. So he's there 3 separate occasions. And he was with the Kansas City Scouts as well from 74-75 and 75-76. And since I didn't write it down, I imagine the rest of the time was with the Habs. Yeah, I forget. He was here like 3-4 years. He barely got his name on the Vezina Trophy in '81 with Michel Larocque, Buddy Larocque, and Richard Sevigny. Was the first year after Dryden retired. I remember they were playing with 3 goalies mostly all year, and Haren needed a game or a couple of games near the end of the season, and they threw him in third period so that he get his name on the trophy. He also won the Jennings Trophy with, wow, something just, I don't know if it's going to show on the video, but I'm seeing it, and something is just going past, like a ghost just went through my screen. That's what I'm seeing. That is the weirdest thing, and I don't see anything behind me. So I had an instant look. If we're watching this, it's a hockey video, but I gotta tell you something. I could show you. This is interesting, people. Even though it's just on. See my window there? The fan is opened, and the curtain. So yesterday, it wasn't overly warm. I shut the fan, closed the curtain. I have it with a peg, and. Anyways, I'm back. I'm on the computer. I'm looking at stuff. Maybe 20 minutes later, I look over, and the curtain that I closed and put the peg on the night table. Now, there's a sheet and a curtain there. The sheet is there to block out some of the sun in the morning. So the curtain is now pulled, rolled up, and pegged. The sheet is now over the fan, and the fan is on. And that happened about 20 minutes to a half hour after I turned it off and closed it. And it's not a word of a lie. I'm still a little freaked out about it. And just now as I'm recording this weird kind of haze just went twice in front of my camera. And then a black dot shape just went all around and left. And it stopped and it's gone away. That's the, what do you call it? Supernatural episode of Talking Habs with Rick. Let's get back to our video. So he was a Jennings Trophy winner with Rick Walmsley in 1982. His career numbers were 462 games played, 146 wins, 203 losses, 76 ties, a .370 goals against, and an .889 save percentage. I like Denny Haren, and I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember the show. I believe it was Cheers, and they had this guy playing a French hockey player that got traded to the Canadiens. And he was in Boston, fell in love with the waitress, can't remember her name. And it was based on the Denny Haren. It was based on that on him, that character. I was always just like this guy, so for whatever reason, Denny Haren, number 3. Number 4 is Andre Red Light Racicot. I was actually surprised. I thought he played earlier than he actually played, but Red Light Racicot. He won the Cup in 1993 with the Habs. He is with Montreal. He started in 89-90. It's happening again, the haze. This is the weirdest thing. 93 to 93-94. He played 68 games. That's it. I must have wrote that wrong. He must have more than 68 games. So maybe 26 wins, 23 losses, 8 ties, .350 goals against, and an .880 save percentage. Oh, you know what? I just figured out what it is. I'm not. You know what? It's funny because I just told you the story about the ghost. It's summertime. Our balcony doors open. There's some flies in the house. It's a fly going over my camera lens. That's what making. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so no more supernatural talk. Let's see. So that .350 and .880, not great numbers. And he led in. I think it was in his NHL debut, 3 goals on 6 shots in 13 minutes, and I think that might be where he got his name Red Light from. But the reason he's one of my favorites is just me and my cousin, who were big hockey fans, we watched all the games and everything, and we used to make fun of. I think everybody made fun of Red Light Racicot. Just like the name, and just now thinking about it, just brings me back to that era. Okay, well, I forgot the number. That's number 5, Radek Bonk. He was a center. Played for Ottawa, started in Ottawa in 94-95 to 2003-04. Montreal from 2005-06 to 2006-07. He went to Nashville after that for a couple of years. He played 969 games, 194 goals, 303 assists, 497 points. He was a big guy, not physical, definitely not a physical guy. And he wore number 14 before Thomas Plekanec. The reason I liked him wasn't anything about his play or anything special like that, because, yes, in Ottawa he did quite well. He had some really good seasons. He didn't do that here in Montreal. Just liked his name, Bonk. We used to make a lot of fun with that name, Bonk. So, yeah, that's why he's on here. So, Radek Bonk, number 5. Number 6 is defenseman Rick Chartres. He won 4 cups with Montreal from 76 to 79, the 4 in a row in the 70s. He played with Montreal from 1974-75 to 80-81. He went to LA for 2 years, or 80-81 to 81-82, the Rangers for 82-83 to 83-84, and Edmonton for part of 83-84. He played 420 games, 28 goals, 64 assists, 92 points, and 399 penalty minutes. Okay, first of all, he was a tough guy. He was a decent defenseman, not a scorer. I imagine he was a stay-at-home guy, but a tough guy. The reason he's on here isn't particularly that I liked him or anything, but the hockey guy just did a video about the history of the Habs, and I guess he had all the trades and all that. And it was on a couple of occasions he pronounced the name Chartres, but he pronounced it Chartres. And when I was watching the video, I was like, oh, God, I got to fix that. I was going to try to, give him a comment to fix it. I thought I'd get it in the video eventually. So this is why he's in here. It's Rick Chartres, not Chartres, Chartres. That's why he's one of my favorite lesser-known Canadians. I liked him, though. When he got traded, I was a little sad at the time. He was with us for a few years. So Rick Chartres, number 6. Number 7, this is one of my favorites of all time. Not because he was a big numbers guy, or he was a good player, but I just love Shane Corson. So Shane Corson, the center, one of my favorites of all time. He started with Montreal in 85-86 to 91-92, and he came back in 96-97 to 99-2000. He was in Edmonton for a little bit. He played with St. Louis and Toronto and Dallas at the end of his career. He played in 1,156 games, 273 goals, 420 assists, 693 points, and 2,357 penalty minutes. He was a tough guy. I love Shane Corson, a power forward, a definite power forward. He had a career-high 75 points in 76 games in 89-90, so he could definitely put up some numbers. He was a solid second-line center, stand-up guy, protected his teammates. His best seasons were in Montreal. He was team captain here and in Edmonton. I forget how. Don't think for Edmonton it was just for a year. They actually stripped him of the captaincy after. I don't remember exactly why. He was traded to Edmonton for Vincent Damphousse, and he was an 8th overall pick in the first round. And I used to work at a restaurant, and there was a guy there from Iran. His name was Kazra, a really good guy. And he just loved Shane Corson. Always saying, oh, Corson, he's the best. Corson, the best player in the NHL. Corson. He loves Shane Corson. So, Shane Corson, one of my truly favorite. I don't even know if he's lesser known or not, but I wanted him on this list of Montreal Canadiens lesser known players. So, at number 8, we have defenseman Gilbert DeLong. Let's see now. He started Montreal at 81-82 to 82-83. Then he came back for 83-84. Oh, if I'm correct, this guy, he went one team. Yeah, I went from Montreal to St. Louis, back to Montreal, back to St. Louis, to the Nordiques, back to Montreal, something like that. He bounced around between 2 teams. 3 times he did that. Anyway, enough about that. He played 541 games, 31 goals, 92 assists, 123 points. 520 penalty minutes. He had a very funny skating style. Fly again. That's the reason he's on here. He skated pretty funny. He was a decent defenseman, but he skated with a very wide legs out kind of. What do you call that? A gait? I don't know if that's a gait. Anyway, that was his style. That's the reason he's on there. Gilbert DeLong, one of my favorite lesser-known Habs. Number 8 on the list. Alphabetical order, so don't go by that. Number 9 on the list is left winger Gilbert Dionne, younger brother of Marcel Dionne. He started in 81, no, wrong one, 90-91 to 94-95. He played with Florida for, okay, let me go back. He was traded to Philadelphia in 94-95 along with John Leclerc, Eric Desjardins, and I think someone else. Anyway, for Mark Recchi. Let's see now. He had 21 goals in his first 39 games as a rookie, and he looked really good, and we thought big things were coming from Marcel Dionne's younger brother. Not. He had 2 pretty decent seasons after that. I think 48 points or 45 points. He was traded to Philly, like I said. He took my biggest memory of him. There was a goal in I don't know if it was overtime or it was in a playoff game, and they didn't know who scored it. And he was famously, yeah, it's me, pointing out it was me, and it was like we weren't sure who scored it. And I just kind of remember for that. He was a cup winner with Montreal in 92-93, and that's it for Gilbert Dionne. I just wanted to show I'm wearing that poncho that I got. It's a little long, so hard to show in the video, but I'm wearing the poncho. So once again, thanks David McCormick. Thank you for that. That's a subscriber. Thank you so much for that. And I'm wearing it in the video, and it's not bad. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Hang on, guys. Number 10 is Dick Duff, a left winger. You probably guess already why I like this one. 6 cups with 2 with Toronto in the 50s and in 1961, I think. 4 with Montreal, 65, 66, 67, and 68. He played with Toronto, New York Rangers, Montreal from 64, 65 to 69, 70, LA, and Buffalo. He was famously traded to LA to help LA stay ahead of the California Golden Seals. So Montreal, who had acquired the Seals' #1 pick in the draft for the following year, would get Guy Lafleur. And Dick Duff, just love that name. You can imagine why. Dick Duff. As a kid, that was a great name to say amongst your friends. So number 10, Dick Duff. If you're a video creator, live streamer, vlogger, or gamer, give TubeBuddy a try on Chrome, Foxfire, and Safari. I use TubeBuddy every day to do YouTube, and I couldn't do it without TubeBuddy. It's free, and you never have to upgrade, and that's like the best thing. It's free, and you never have to upgrade on this. Although if you do want to upgrade, the plans are very affordable, and you get a little bit more, but you never have to upgrade. They're great for thumbnails, SEO, which is search engine optimization, and analytics, and a lot more than that. There's a link in the description down below, so you should give it a try. See if you like it, and I bet you will, because like I said, I cannot do this without it. So let's see, TubeBuddy, a basic essential for me. What a great smooth ad that was, right? TubeBuddy, link in the description below. Check it out. If you're doing any kind of stuff here on YouTube, it's amazing. I couldn't do without YouTube without TubeBuddy. Now I'm stammering instead of just to do an ad. Whew. Now, for anybody still watching, because it's a long video, number 11 is defenseman Carl Dykehouse. You see the way it's spelled, it's not House, but that's how you pronounce it. He played here from 99, 2000 to 2003, 2004. He was just an average defenseman, but I love that last name in a very childish way. Carl Dykehouse, number 11. Now, number 12 is Brian Engblom, a defenseman, a cup winner in 78 and 79. I think in 77 he didn't get his name on the cup because I think he didn't play any regular season games, and that's the qualifying factor apparently. He was in Montreal from 76, 77 to 81, 82. He went to Washington in that trade that brought us Ryan Walter and Rick Green. He went to LA, Buffalo, Calgary in 659 games. He had 29 goals, 177 assists for 206 points, and 599 penalty minutes. He was a good Jewish boy, and I can relate to that because that's what I am. You don't see a lot of Jewish hockey players. He was traded to Washington, like I said, with Rod Langway, Jarvis, and Craig Laughlin for Rick Green and Ron Walter. Good solid defenseman. Brian Engblom, he wore the number 3, and he's number 12 on this list. Number 13 is defenseman Lou Fountain Otto. Now, I guess only us old-timers know who he is. You young guys probably never heard of him. He was acquired in exchange for Doug Harvey when they traded Doug Harvey because he was trying to organize with Ted Lindsay and all that back in the day. Let me see now if there's anything about him. He was played with the Rangers and the Canadiens. He had 536 games played, 26, 78, 104 points, 1,247 penalty minutes in his day. He was here from 61, 62 to 62, so he played 2 seasons here. The only reason he's on here, because I don't think I ever saw him play, really. I was born in 63. My father told a lot of hockey stories when I was young, and there was a bunch of them about Lou Fountain Otto, because he was a fighter, and something to do with a fight, and I always remember him for that, and that's the reason he's on this list. Lou Fountain Otto. Number 14 on this list is Gaston Giguere. He played in the WHA 78-79 for Birmingham. He was a cup winner in 1986. Started in Montreal in 79-80. Played here on 2 separate occasions. Played for Toronto, St. Louis. He had 476 games played, 61 goals, 174 assists, and 235 points. What I remember mostly about Giguere is he had a wicked shot from the point, but it was wild. He didn't know where it was going to go, and nobody did. And people were a bit afraid sometimes to step in front of it or to stand in front of that shot. So Gaston Giguere, a decent little defenseman, definitely a decent defenseman, and just that wicked, wild, who knew where it was going to go shot. And his name, Gaston Giguere, just something about it that I always found funny. One of my favorites, lesser-known Habs players, Gaston Giguere. Number 15 is Craig Ludwig, a defenseman, and a good defenseman, a good, solid, stay-at-home defenseman that you could count on. He was a cup winner in 86 with Montreal and in 99 in Dallas. He started here in 82-83, and he stayed here until 89-90. He went to the Islanders for a year, Minnesota North Stars for 2, and then became an original Dallas Star right after that, right up until 98-99. He played 1,256 games, 38 goals, 184 assists for 222 points, and 1,437 penalty minutes. So you can see by the points he wasn't an offensive defenseman, but he was a good, solid, stay-at-home defenseman, a top 4. He was tough and rugged. He played 177 playoff games. And, yeah, Craig Ludwig, just a really good, solid guy that I always liked. And, yeah, number 15 on my list of favorite lesser-known Habs. Whew, it was hot under that poncho, so I changed. Okay, so number 16 is Pierre Monteux. He won 2 cups with the Habs in 78-79. He was a center and a really good, solid center. Second line, solid scoring second-line center, 30-plus goals 3 times in 8 seasons. 72 points in 77 games in 78-79. He retired early because of an eye injury that was caused by a high stick to the eye by Ulf Samuelsson. Yeah, instead of a knee, he didn't get a knee on him, but he got the stick in his eye. So, and that was in the 84-85 playoffs. Really, really too bad because this guy was a really good, solid second-line center. I really like Pierre Monteux. So definitely one of my favorites. Not for a joke or for just, one little thing. Really good, solid hockey player. His career was ended early. So number 16, Pierre Monteux. Number 17 is Mickey Redmond. He was a right winger, a cup winner in 68-69 with the Habs. They traded him to Detroit in 70-71 for Frank Mahovlich, the Big M. He was a 2-time 50-goal scorer in Detroit, 73 and 74, and he had 93 points in 73 games, or in 1973. I'm not sure that's what I wrote. So Mickey Redmond was a good young player when they traded him. Didn't see him a lot, but I remember even though we got Frank Mahovlich back, he was a good, solid young player. He retired early because of a back. He hurt his back, and then he had to retire. So Mickey Redmond, I don't know, not a very well-known player today, I guess. One of my favorite lesser-known Habs. Yeah, that wasn't number 1. That was number 18. Marty Rosinski. Involved in the trade for Patrick Roy, along with Andre Kovalenko and goalie Jocelyn Thibault. He hit it off really quickly with Vinny Dafus on his line, where they got, I think he had 25 goals, 35 assists for 60 points. And I'm not sure, because he was traded, I don't know if it was the total for, but I think it was 60 points in not a lot of games, 50 games, something like that. In his first season, it was very impressive. He was just an average left winger, pretty decent, good left winger, but he had a lot of promise, and we were expecting a lot more. But still, one of those kind of guys that you just liked, and he played on line with Vincent Danfus. So number 18, Marty Rosinski. Number 19, Bryan Stulberg. Screwy, that was his nickname. He was a cup winner with Montreal in '86 and with Dallas in '99. He's a center. Let's see what from all this. He was an original Florida Panther. He was drafted off of, I'm not sure whose roster at the time. Maybe it was Calgary. But he's an original Florida Panther. He has the fastest goal in overtime in NHL playoff history at 9 seconds. I remember that goal. So it was amazing how quick he just scored. I'm waving by it. It flies everywhere. How suddenly the game was just over. It was great. Let's see. That's pretty much it that I have written down here. That was in Game 2 of the 1986 finals, by the way. And that's it. Bryan Stulberg. Just just a good, solid, bottom 6 player. And kind of guy you like, and that's a very educated guy, smart guy. Number 19, Bryan Stulberg. Before we get to number 20, Bryan Stulberg, 881 games, played 124 goals, 219 assists, 343 points, and 1,107 penalty minutes. Good player. Don't know why I stopped it and then restarted. Number 20, PJ Stock. He only played 20 games here in Montreal, but one of my favorites, probably because he went onto the radio here years after, and on TSN 690 he had a show when I was doing a lot of driving for a living, and I listened to a lot of PJ Stock, and I really liked him. He wasn't that much of a player, that's for sure. Good fighter, tough guy, that kind of thing. He started his career in New York playing with Gretzky. I think he even played on Gretzky's line a couple times. He's a local kid, born in Pointe Claire, very close to here. And yeah, that's it. PJ Stock, just one of my favorite characters that played for Montreal. So that's my top 20 favorite Montreal Canadiens lesser known players. And I think I'll go right to the end. I won't stop. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and ring the notifications bell for all my videos, live streams, contests, and podcasts for your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge. And look out for Habalison. It's a great podcast featuring Lewis and Gibby and now me, starting for next season. Every second Wednesday, I believe. I don't know the first day of I'll let you guys know. And it's all through the NHL season. The link is in the description. That's for the show that I was on. It should be the top show when you click on that. And then join me Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for Hockey Talk live stream. That's every Saturday night at 9. Hope to see you there. Sorry it was such a long video. Go Habs, go, and bye, y'all.